Sorry, my microphone wasn't on there. Anyway, product review here. I used a Melling oil pump in a 6.0. This is the gasket it came from. This is the cover it came from. And as you can see, USA. I mean, it's not as pretty and machined in here like the one you get from Ford is. And, I didn't think about it. This is partly my fault because I had never used one before. I measured the gears thickness. I measured the put a new front cover on it, which was an aftermarket, which I can't think of the name of it, but the thing was just beautiful and perfect, and the casting and the machining on it was really nice. I'll try to put up the name of that. I would use one over a Ford one. They're not much cheaper, but they sure are a lot nicer. Anyway, so the problem with the Melling oil pump is it comes with this captured O-ring gasket that goes in here, and I didn't notice this when I put it together. I wish I would have now, but that it's not even sticking out up there. I mean, you can't see that on camera, but it's at or below the flat line here. So I wasn't getting a seal up here, so of course it was puking oil out after a few miles. And the problem is the machining on this is too thick. The groove, even on the Ford one, is cast into the aluminum. It's a cast groove, and then they machine this off flat. Well, they didn't take enough off of here, and it doesn't really matter because this fits up against a flat surface, so this is completely flat. I mean, this could be as thick or thin as you wanted it to be, really. The only thing that's going to change is the volume of these chambers in here, which probably isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. But anyway, this is the O-ring. I compared it to the Ford one. I mean, you can't really mic an O-ring. I suppose you could, but I mean, they look exactly the same to me. When you hold this up to the Ford one, I don't have one here because I just sold it. I mean, they look comparable other than the machining on the outside, but this does say USA on it, and this came with the Melling oil pump. The gears, I mic'd the gears. I compared it to the Ford ones. I don't see any difference there. Fit in the bore really nice. Clearances were in spec, but we had this issue going on. Now, I happen to have a set of gaskets that somebody brought me for something, and with a Felpro, and this is a thicker gasket, and it has the little tabs on it both sides like a 7.3 had on them, on the oil pump and the water pump and stuff. This actually fits in there, but this isn't. And if I would have used this gasket, which didn't come with the Melling oil pump, it wouldn't have leaked because this is thicker. I mean, it may have eventually. I mean, this is a lot thicker, and this would have worked if I would have stuffed that down in there. I probably wouldn't have had a leak. But anyway, so I don't know if this is just a bad day at the machine shop, during the machining process, or how many of these they have out there, and how many guys are going to use a Melling oil pump and have a pretty serious leak on the front of the engine because you get oil pressure. But if you buy a Melling oil pump, at least, I didn't see a problem with the gears. I couldn't tell any difference measurement wise or anything like that between that and the gears you get from Ford. It really wasn't, for me, it wasn't, I didn't save any money. It just, I want to add an oil pump with the front cover, and it said Melling. So I thought, Melling, yeah, I mean, hell, it's got to be good stuff. Sure, throw that in. About the same price as I would have paid from Ford if I would have just skipped that part of it, the oil pump part of it, and bought that shit from Ford. Now, it did come with a regulator, and the regulator looked really nice. Everything looked quality there. New O-ring and a new, bolt that holds everything in there. You'd have to buy that separate from Ford, so that would cost you a little bit more money. But I'm going to say just avoid the hassle. If you want to buy a Melling oil pump, I didn't see any problem with the gears, and I don't know if this was just a bad day at the machine shop, but I got to believe that this is the way they come, and there's going to be people that have oil leaks because of this issue. I mean, that O-ring fits so deep in there, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the rear because I didn't catch that right off the get-go. Like I said, if I would have used this Felpro kit gasket in there, it sticks up enough and would crush enough to prevent this from leaking once you torque this on there. But anyway, Melling oil pump, gears are probably fine. I don't know if I'd use the cover or not. If I did, I'd have to do some mix and matching, and we don't want to do that. So if you are doing an oil pump, just get it from Ford. You can get it online somewhere. Make sure it's a genuine, Motorcraft in the Motorcraft package parts. And I've never had an issue with Ford gears or cover leaking like that. And I've never had an issue with the Ford seal leaking. Now this isn't a Ford seal, but it looks like a good quality seal. And it is actually made in the USA. I mean, that doesn't really mean much anymore. Sadly, hopefully we get back to that someday. But right now we're seem to be a long ways from that. But anyway, public service announcement.